Hey, what is up, you guys? This is Justin. Before I do get started, I want to thank you guys for making me a part of your day. This video, I'm going to bring you guys the top 5 reasons to be a teacher. We're going to talk about a few things first. I am a teacher. I've taught for 9 years. I teach high school math. So all of the things that I'm saying, these are my opinions. These are the top 5 reasons why you should become a teacher. Or I guess the top 5 reasons, the top 5 things that are good about teaching and reasons being a teacher. But all of the stuff that I'm saying, it's based off of my experiences. It's not based off of like a book or anything like that. So what I'm trying to say is that I've done it. So it's not like I didn't just read an article and got inspired by it and try to make some stuff up. No, this is from my experiences. Okay, so I've taught at 2 schools. I taught at one school 1 year, and then the other 8. They're like the same school district. But anyway, so we're gonna go on the top 5 list. A few things first. If you were a teacher or you are a teacher, I'd really like you guys to comment, kind of make your own top 5 on the bottom, or on any of the thoughts that I have. And if you're thinking about becoming a teacher, here's the thing, real quick. Everybody always asks me for advice. They want some some nuggets of wisdom. I don't recommend being a teacher right now. If you want to be a teacher or you're in college right now, I think you should major in something that's not education right now. Here's the thing: the way that you can be a teacher now with just a different degree, because they have different avenues now. You don't have to go to like I went to college, like a small private college, and I actually went to the School of Education. So you don't have to do that anymore. And right now, it's not really the best time to be a teacher too. If you have teacher friends, you probably have heard a few things, right? And we're in a transition phase right now in America. This is American teachers, okay? So because I teach in America. And this is going to be talking with that. But I would just recommend not doing that. You really should go major in something that makes money, first of all. That's kind of the big thing. And then go from there. Because teaching will always be there. Like, if you want to be a teacher later, you can always do that too. Like, if you want to go 10 years in a different industry. And I work with people that are like that. They started off, in different avenues, and they came back to teaching. So I recommend that, go do something you truly want to do, unless obviously you love teaching. It's probably because your parents were teachers. That's usually what happens. But the reason why is the money, okay? Because now is my first point, is that if you have, let's say you have a good financial situation, like you have rich parents or something like that, then yeah, you can go be a teacher. It's a great job because you don't have to worry about money. But what else? Or if you have like a rich spouse, like, so if your husband or your wife makes a ton of money, right? It doesn't matter. Like, when I was a teacher, my ex-girlfriend was making like $100,000 a year, so it didn't even matter to me. Like, I could do whatever I wanted, right? Because that's insane how much money people were making, right? So that's another thing you got to take into consideration too while you're teaching. But I got to get on this list. I don't recommend being a teacher, but here's some pretty good reasons why you should be a teacher. The first one, or number 5, we'll start at number 5. Number 5 is going to be for coaching. So obviously, if you play a sport or you're really interested in teaching a sport, coaching is just an extension of the classroom, right? So basically, if you're okay at teaching and managing, like students, like classroom management, then coaching is the exact same thing. It's just a different way of reaching a student. So coaching, if you like coaching, one good thing about coaching is that it's one of the few avenues where you get to teach life skills. Like, as a teacher, you can teach life skills, but for the most part, you're teaching whatever subject matter you have, and you got to kind of squeeze in some goal setting for kids. But coaching's good, a good way to teach like young boys how to become men, and if you coach like volleyball or cheerleading like that, you can go that way too. So coaching's good, and usually if you're a professional coach, like in football or anything like that, all those guys are teachers. There's no other way. Usually nowadays, you can't just be a coach. You can be like an assistant, but you can't just be a coach at a school without teaching there. And so teaching prepares you for coaching, and aspects of both. They're interchangeable. So like, it's really good if you're into coaching, or if you played like Division I anything, you probably can get a head coaching job just because of that, right? Going to number 4. Number 4, changing day to day and autonomy. I kind of squeeze these two in together. Changing day to day, for those that don't know, it's a big deal. I didn't realize how good it was until I started talking with other people about their jobs. So changing day to day, I work on a block schedule, so 87 minutes goes by and I change. So it's always moving and it's always changing and it's always doing all these things. So it makes the day go by. Excuse me. It makes the day go by a lot faster too. And you change year to year too. You're always growing. Like, if you work in, I don't even know, I can't even think of a job, like if you're banking or marketing, I don't know what you guys do, right? Like you're sitting there preparing reports all day, or you're an analyst and you're looking at numbers all day. It's tough. It can get boring. Break the monotony. Autonomy is pretty good overall. For most teachers, they get almost complete autonomy. I mean, unless you work for like some jerks or whatever. But autonomy is pretty cool too, because nobody's gonna really tell you what to do. Like that's a pretty cool thing, because in another job you might have like a bunch of bosses, right? And you got to listen, you got to answer to all of them, right? But in teaching, you don't really, they give you the subject matter, your objectives, your standards and goals, and then you take that and you put your own your touch on it, and that's pretty cool too. Like you get a lot of freedom to do that, and it changes all the time. Okay. All right, number 3, we're gonna go with relationships with colleagues and students. We'll start with the colleagues. First of all, teachers are weird. Well, for me, they're a weird group because I've only met 2 types of teachers in general. They're like super cool or like not cool at all. Like there's no in between them. And I think like for the most part, it's funny because like I'm a younger guy, right? And so, but a lot of the older guys, you'd be surprised who you'd be cool with, who you'd be friends with. So that's pretty cool too. And teachers always, in general, like teachers always have each other's back. Like that, there's a lot of camaraderie in there, in teaching too. So like that's pretty good. And you'll probably meet. Usually, it's like human nature. Like just research shows that you're probably gonna hang out with people that make the same amount of money as you. And so teachers don't make any money, right? So I think that's why they're pretty patient. They're pretty patient in general, but usually relationships that are forged through adversity are way stronger than when everybody's happy, right? When you've dated somebody and you guys have been through like hard stuff, like that's a really strong relationship, right? So relationship with students is cool too. For the most part, that part's overrated though. The relationship, like a lot of people that come in, like you're gonna get this interview question where they're gonna be like, well, what do you want to, why do you want to be a teacher so bad? And I just want to have a good relationship. Being able to change somebody's life, it's cool and it's rewarding, but it's not like I've had a lot of it. So like I've had a lot of students that I've helped, and then later they've told me like, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do anything if it wasn't for you. And that's really cool, and it was rewarding, but it's overrated in my opinion. A lot of teachers, after a while, it's just like, it's your job. And so it's one of those things. It's tough because you have so many students, right? Now there's stuff in students in classrooms now, so you can't even give a lot of your attention to particular students that need it, right? Okay, number 2. Let's go on to number 2. The schedule. This should actually be number 1, but I got a good one for number 1. So, the schedule, you cannot beat this schedule. There's no job in America right now that has a better schedule than teachers, okay? And here's the thing, a lot of teachers say, well, I work all summer and I got to do all that. I was like, if you're efficient, like I've been teaching for almost 10 years, so I'm pretty efficient with my time off. I get work done like fast. So when school's out, school is out. And here's the thing, I actually have 2 teachers. I teach online too. So the schedule can be beat. I think the average American works between 225 days and 240 days a year. Okay, that's what a normal American worker does. Okay, because that's like a 2-week vacation or whatever, right? Teachers work roughly from anywhere from 185 days a year, plus or minus like 10 days, right? And here's the thing, your salary, you don't get paid in the summer. Here's the thing, everybody's like, you get summer off. We don't get paid for the summer. You basically get like what a normal person would make that works like 240 days a year, right? You basically get like 10/12 of that, right? What is that? 5/6 of that. So your salary is reduced in that aspect. It's just stretched out. So they divide it by 12, right? So instead of making like what is $4,000 a month? $48,000, right? So instead of making like $48,000 a month, they would just give you like $38,000 and then spread it over 12 months, right? But schedule can't be beat, particularly if you have kids too, because if you have kids, high school schedule, you can basically take your kid, you can pick your kids up, you can go to work, you can do all those things. And the summer is good because you don't have to hire like a baby. Like there's no other job that's going to give you that type of schedule if you have kids. Like if you have a lot of kids and you need time off, right? Then you get out at 3. If you're a high school teacher, you get out around 3 or 4. And so like most of the stuff is open. Like the bank's open, right? You can just go to the bank, there's not a lot of jobs where you can still get stuff done, because you go to work like at 7, right, 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning, and you get out like 3 or 4. Like there's still a day left. You know what I mean? Like people work 9 to 5 or whatever, 9 to 6, 9 to 7, and it's kind of tough. And you don't really like a lot of teachers work a lot of extra hours, but when you get good at it, it's really, when you get really efficient at it, your schedule, it's the best schedule. That's one of the best reasons, or one of the best things about being a teacher, is the schedule is awesome. Okay, number one reason to be a teacher. Okay, here's the thing. Let's go. It's love. You gotta love teaching, because and here's the thing. Teaching, and I'll make a different video about it. Teaching actually isn't what you think it is, because I wanted to make a top 5 myths about teaching video too, right? But let me put this whole list up there, right? Okay, so the number one's love. Basically, is what I'm talking about here. Like you gotta love to do this, or you won't last. All right, so for you like undergraduates out there that think like, oh, I'm gonna figure it out, I'm just gonna go be a teacher, right? Like you won't last. I promise you, you will not last. Okay, and if you wanna be a teacher, you gotta love like being in that environment too. So here's the thing: whenever you get your interview, right? Because a lot of you guys are gonna be new teachers going in, they're gonna ask you this question. They're gonna ask you like, why do you want to be a teacher, right? And you're gonna say something. You're gonna say some canned answer like, oh, well, like I just want to be able to effectively, change people's lives or whatever like that, right? But here's the thing. Everybody, like, that's a good answer, right? But everybody wants to do that, right? So here's the real answer to that question. Okay? I'll tell you, I said this in an interview, okay? I said I love teaching so much, right? Like I love it. And then I told him, like, there's a lot of people that they like things, or they really, they enjoy things, but I love this shit, right? I actually said shit in an interview, but the guy was cool about it though. But so that's what you need to express to the person that's you're interviewing with, right? Because people like teaching, they like the feel good stuff, but I love like this, right? Like I read books every week to become a better, more quality, effective educator, right? Like I go to bed, like I can't even stop thinking about what I'm gonna do in the classroom and change other students to help them set goals, accomplish their goals, right? Like that's what you need to like express to the person if you're getting interviewed, right? You gotta love it, man. People like a lot of things. Like I like this, I like this. Like if you love your wife, right? It's different. Like you can't even explain it, right? That's the type of feeling and emotion you need to show when you're getting interviewed, right? Because everybody's gonna say the same thing. They already know the answer, the right answer. They want to know what you think. If you can express that, like educator to educator, right? Because your admin will be probably ex-teacher or whatever. Educator to educator, you got it. Like they'll know, right? You can see it. You can tell when somebody loves. It's kind of like when you play a sport, or you watch a movie, or you like musicians, right? It's easy to tell when somebody doesn't love it. Like they might be talented and good at it, but there's people that if they could do one thing for the rest of their life, that's what they would do. Okay, but I'm gonna wrap it up. Make sure to leave your comments. Let me know what your top 5 is, because I want to know, And here's the thing. If you don't have number 1, like 5, 4, 3, and 2 are cool. Like they're really nice. But if you don't have number 1, like it's not going to work, right? Like you can love all, or you can like all of the other ones. But if you don't have number 1, you're just not going to be successful, okay? Oh, and before I do wrap it up, I should make another video on this, but I wanted to tell, there's teachers sometimes they don't know like when to quit, or when to not quit, or they don't know when to move on, is what I'm saying. So, but here's a good little tool. I forgot who told me this, but I didn't make a slide for it either, so you're just gonna have to pay attention. There's 3 things in every job, okay? So here's the thing. I'm gonna give you 3 objectives, right, that you should have in your job, okay? Now, you probably aren't gonna have all 3, but you need at least 2. You need 2 out of these 3, okay? Now, for a teacher, it's going to be kind of easy to see which ones you're going to have, okay? So the first one's this. A job's good if you get paid a bunch of money. That's objective number 1. You get paid a bunch of money, too, right? Number 2 is that if your job, your environment, your work environment, the people you work with, if they're super cool, like it's awesome, like everybody you gets along with, right? Like you have a good day, like you like going to work, right? Or number 3, you absolutely love the job. Like the actual job part of it, right? Now those are 3 things you need in a job. You actually only need 2 of those. That's how I measure things, right? So if you have 2 of those, you're good. But if you only got 1 of those, you might need to move on, all right? So here's the thing. For the first part, the pay, You're not gonna have that. You're just not gonna have it. You're not gonna get paid a lot, right? But I'm actually in a pretty good spot where I make all right money. So let's say I got paid a lot and I love the job, but the environment sucks, right? That's still 2 out of 3, so I would keep that job. Well, let's say the pay is awesome, and the people you work with are like the coolest people you've been around, right? But you actually don't even like the job. Like you can still keep that job. You can still be successful in that. Okay. But let's turn it around, right? You're not going to get paid as a teacher, so if you could absolutely love teaching, but if the environment is not good and you're not going to make any money, you need to move on. Whether it be a different school or change of scenery, that's what you got to do. Okay. So yeah, that was the other thing too, because that's how you measure things. You don't have to stay. Like there's a lot of teachers that they're scared of leaving. They're scared of like making decisions. So, but that's my top 5, kind of a long video, but I wanted to tell you guys, if you're going to be a teacher, man, you got to love it. You got to love it. If you don't love it, people can tell, and you're not going to get hired, okay? So if you just want to do it because it's easy and I want a cush schedule, it might work, but I don't know if you're going to last, though. That's a problem. So let me know your 5. You know what? I want to hear from the other teachers out there, because there's got to be a lot of you guys out there, right? But other than that, I've been Justin. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.